Good morning. It is Wednesday, May 20th. We are in chapter 12 of Paul's letter to the Romans. Throughout Paul's letter, he has been making the distinction between our flesh and the desires of the flesh, the things that dwell inside of us, and our spiritual identities. He's been drawing that contrast, but now as we get into chapter 12, we realize that he has never intended for those things to be separated apart, but one is to be submitted to the other and ultimately submitted under God. This is what he says at the very beginning of chapter 12. And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Oftentimes when we think of sacrifice in the Bible, we think of something going to death. But Paul is focusing on the other side of the equation. When we submit ourselves, we will find new life. And that life will transform everything there is about us. And our perspectives and our attitudes will no longer conform to what's acceptable in the world. And that's exactly what God wants for us. Because the world tries to sell us something, and it offers us, it says peace, but it never gives it to us. Our God wants us to live in peace and joy. The chapter goes on to describe what it means to live a life alongside the Messiah, and then it wraps up beginning to describe what it means to live in the world still as a transformed follower of Jesus Christ. At verse 14, we read this: Bless those who persecute you. Don't curse them. Pray that God will bless them. Be happy with those who are happy and weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with each other. Don't be too proud to enjoy the company of ordinary people, and don't think you know it all. We are going to be transformed, and we are going to be different than the people around us. That is not to let us walk around with pride and arrogance. That's what got our brothers and sisters, the Jews, in trouble in the first place. Instead, while we know we are loved, we get to walk around in peace and share that with others. And here is how it ends. Don't let evil conquer you, but conquer evil by doing good. The transformed life is not about fighting against the world. It is about surrendering to God and living in that transformed life of doing good. So, be transformed, do good, and watch the world change around you. Have a great day, everybody.